Alright, so HR-127. That is today's deep dive topic. And this is one of the many, many radical bills that the left has proposed on the Congress floor recently, including obviously this one regarding guns, HR-1, the Equality Act, which is not equality at all. You have HR-5, which is the Voting Rights Act, I believe. And then you also have the George Floyd Police Reform Act. So, as I talked earlier in this episode about the start of the Chauvin trial. So, yeah. So first off, I wanted to say that I did read all 19 pages of this bill, so you are welcome. And there was some crazy stuff, I will be honest. All right, so this bill was proposed on January 4th by Representative Jackson Lee of Texas. Yes, Texas, the Lone Star State, the Freedom State. One of their representatives has proposed the most radical gun bill in U.S. history. So I don't get how that correlates, but whatever. All right, so now straight down to business. All right, so this bill, there are a lot of problems with it, and I will go into as many of them as I can in as much detail as I can. All right, so the first problem of this bill is that if you want to have a firearm, you need to have firearm insurance. Any firearm needs to have this specific $800 a year government-run insurance. All right. So if the government can't run like the post office correctly, how are they expected to run something as complicated as a firearm insurance thing? Yes, the post office is complicated. So still, if they can't do that, how can they do this? If they can't, the only good thing that the government has done is the military, guys. So unless you can give me something else, but school system, public school system is shit. Post office, as I said, is bad. Military actually is starting to become worse. They're getting the woke crap. You got to do like some BLM ghetto training and for the Navy now, which is stupid. And so, the left, they're all about this not being discriminatory to the lower class. They're saying that, voter ID is discriminatory to the lower class, but an $800 insurance is right off the bat is extremely discriminatory to any and all lower middle class or poor people who don't have the $800 a year to spare for this insurance and just need the firearm to protect themselves. And overall, most poor people, statistically speaking, are black. So as the left would say, this is discriminatory to African Americans and this is racist. So this African American lady, Jackson Lee, is racist. She's a traitor to her own race. All right. And so because they would not be able to pay, obviously, again, not all African Americans are poor. I'm not any racist. All right. But yeah, so they wouldn't be able to pay. So how are they able to get a firearm? They're not. They're not able to protect themselves. They're not able to exercise the God-given right to protect themselves. All right. So you guys can see how a mandated insurance policy and a government-run insurance policy is wrong, right? Y'all can see that, right? Well, all right, so you might want to know what it covers first, because if you want to see if it's good or bad, because this $800 insurance policy might be the greatest insurance policy ever. So let me give you a quote as to what it says. So it insures the person against liability for losses and damages resulting from the use of any firearm by the person during the 1-year period that begins with the date the policy is issued. The fee specified in this paragraph is $800. So $800 annual insurance plan. And that honestly is some expensive legal protection, right? So some of the best firearm insurance that I know, firearms legal protection, is only $479 for the family premium plan, all right? And it covers everything that this government one does and more, all for about half the price. So why do they want to charge you so much money for a plan that's most likely shit? Well, it's probably because they want to take the leftover money from it and use it to fund some Arabian abortion clinic and another one of their stupid $1 trillion stimulus checks, where only about 9% of it actually goes to COVID relief. As you know, the most recent stimulus check, only 9% of it went to COVID relief. Think about that. Think about that. All right. So the next big problem with this bill is that you need to have a license to own a gun. So on top of already needing a license to carry, as well as adding a separate license to display an antique firearm or own a military style weapon like ARs or any shotgun, meaning that you need 2 different licenses to own an AR, 3 to carry one. This is stupid. Y'all can see it, all right? They are literally trying to make it as hard as possible to own any sort of gun because they don't want you to own any guns. The left hates the Second Amendment because it protects all the others. The second they fully revoke the Second Amendment, the second that you are not allowed to carry a gun, is the second they can revoke any amendment they want, which they're already doing to the first. They are censoring anyone and everyone that they like on social media and beyond. Now, what are some of the requirements to get this license? All right, well, whoever is going to get this license, they have to do one of the most thorough and extensive and privacy-destroying background checks ever. They basically start off by interviewing you, and then every single person that's ever met you. So obviously that's a hyperbole. I don't want to be getting taken out of context here, but not by much. They get to interview you, your family, friends, and even your former spouse. Yes, your ex-wife, who you left off on really bad terms, is able to bar you from getting a gun. They can just literally totally screw with you. And the person doing these background checks, mind you, doesn't want you to have a gun in the first place. So they will nitpick every little thing. So you may have made a suicide joke like 20 years ago. No gun for you, ever. Not even a little 22. No gun for you. All right. You may have alluded to slapping someone once across the face. No gun for you, ever. If you and your spouse broke up, in a really messy fight, they can take your Second Amendment privileges away. Because in this bill's world, owning a gun is a privilege. It's not a right, it's a privilege. And there's a huge difference there, folks. A privilege is something that you can get on good behavior, like extra TV or staying up past your bedtime. A right is something that cannot be infringed upon and is given to us by God the Creator, not by some lousy government official, but by the Creator, the Father, the Holy Spirit himself, and not herself. It's himself, mind you. All right. So a right is something that cannot be taken away or given on good behavior. It is always there. And the founders knew this. And that is why in the Constitution, in the Bill of Rights, they specifically said the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. Also, you'll need to participate in order to get this license. You'll need to participate in a mandatory gun safety and use class that is at least 8 hours long. And I can guarantee you that it's not going to be a good teacher like some John Lovell or James Yeager teaching the class. It'll most likely be an incompetent SJW social justice warrior liberal whose idea of gun safety is throwing it in the trash or not buying it at all. And that's just a speculation, all right? I don't know, but I don't think it's too far off. All right, but what I am sure of, as I said previously, it ain't going to be a John Lovell. It's not going to be like the highest quality trainers. All right, and so the next crazy highlight, I guess if you could call it that, is that it is unlawful to, again, I quote, own a large capacity ammunition feeding device. So first off, what the hey is an ammunition feeding device? Are you talking about a mag? If so, we'll just go with that. All right, I think so. All right, but I'm not too sure. It could be some weird contraption that after each shot you shove into the barrel or something and it deposits around or something. I don't even freaking know what they mean by that, but they just don't know gun terminology because they don't like guns. So yeah. And now by large capacity mag, they mean a mag that has a capacity of or that can be readily restored or converted to accept more than 10 rounds of ammunition, but does not include an attached tubular device designed to accept and capable of operating only with 22 caliber rim fire ammunition. So basically, you get more than 10 rounds with the 22. But then again, it takes 10 rounds to actually, at least actually put someone down with a little 22 spud gun. But as you heard, everything else gets no more than 9 rounds. 9 rounds, that's it. And that makes no sense because most people get about 1 hit per 4 or 5 rounds. So if they're lucky, they might get 1 or 2 hits with a maxed out mag. So if they are ever in a real gunfight, they will have to try to not get killed as they reload their gun 1 or 2 times. Most people are not skilled enough to have 9 rounds and get 9 hits high center chest. Oh, and I should also note, anything greater than a 50 cal is banned. Alright? So, all y'all big boys out there, you can go put away your big fun guns, because it ain't allowed anymore, because liberals be crazy, man. So, what are the punishments, you might ask, for breaking any of their insane laws? All right. Well, you can be fined anywhere from $5,000 for one of the most minor offenses, like having a 11 round or having a 10 round mag, like most pistols are, all the way up to a $150,000 fine. And you can receive anywhere from 1 to 40 years in prison. And I know many people will probably have to pay $1 million and spend like 1,000 years in prison because of all of their scary black rifles and their magazines that have more than 10 damn rounds. And lastly, we would have only 1 year to get rid of all of our life sentences, as us on the right column, which means big black rifles and 10 round magazines, before we get thrown in the slammer. 1 year, that's it. And that's not a lot of time, really. So, anyone who actually exercises their Second Amendment right, watch out. Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Jack Ryan Show. If you did, please like, comment, and share this video to everyone you know, as well as follow me on Instagram and Spotify at the Jack Ryan Show. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video. Again, thank you for watching.